Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Welcome back for a brand new video. Now in this video I'm going to be doing a spring reading guide. So I'm going to go through all the books out on my spring TBR, new releases in spring that I'm really excited to read, and then spring book recommendations for you as well. Now I have roughly around like 6 books to talk about in each category. Maybe this will just give you a good idea what to pick up in the spring, what I might be reading, book releases that are coming out soon that I'm so excited for and I feel like everyone else is so excited for. So let's just dive straight into the video. We're gonna start off with my spring TBR, so what I'm planning to read this spring. I've actually already started one of the books, and that is the Lady of Darkness series. I am planning to get round to this spring. I was supposed to start it in March and I haven't. It's now April, so we're gonna start it in April. I'm enjoying it so far. I've only read a tiny bit, but I would like to get through the whole series. This is by Melissa K. Rorick, and all I know about this is that it's assassins and it's very reminiscent of Throne of Glass in that way. I just can't wait to dive into a big series where I can be connected to the characters, the world. So that is the first one on my TBR. I then would like to read the Legacy series by Melissa K. Rorick again, and I know this is probably a bit more of a darker book and maybe one that I would probably read in maybe autumn time, but I just can't wait any longer. I need to read this, and I feel like after finishing Lady of Darkness I'm probably going to want to go straight into this. The first book is Reign of Shadows and Endings. They're very chunky books. April is actually my birthday month and I wanted to read this around my birthday, but depending on how long it takes me to read Lady of Darkness, I don't know if I'm going to be reading the Legacy series by then. It's still my spring TBR and I would at least like to start it in the spring. Next is Hollow by the Twister Sisters. I've been wanting to read this ever since it came out. Look how stunning this book is. And look at that beautiful artwork. She actually has different hair colour at the end page here, which is very intriguing. I would love to know what that is all about. Again, another one for my TBR because I think the second book does come out soon. I think that's more of the summertime that's being released. So I want to get up to date, read this in the spring at some point. I think it's set in a forest. There might be some type of trials in a forest. So I feel like that's very spring related. That's why it's on my TBR. Next we have When the Moon Hatched by Sarah A. Parker. The second book is being released soon. I feel like I really need to get around to reading this so that then I can jump on the hype of the second book release. I again don't really know that much about this. This is one that I've been very skeptical to read because I've seen lots of mixed reviews. I feel like I'm either going to love it or not like it very much, and I want to be the person who loves this book. So I'm going to try and put all of those past opinions aside and go into this with a fresh mindset this spring. It's a new awakening, it's a new season, that is new opinions on this book. That's how I'm viewing this book in the spring. I think there's a rebellion, there's dragons in this, reluctant allies, and that's pretty much all I know so far. Not really sure if this is actually spring related at all, but it feels like I should definitely read this before the second book comes out. I next have Diabound on my list because I would like to do a reread of Diabound. I actually don't have the physical copy yet. I need to go and buy a physical copy and have it as a trophy on my shelf. It's actually criminal that I don't have it yet, but I would like to annotate that and read it before Furybound comes out. I want a refresher. I want to be back in that world of those characters. It was 5 stars to me. I was obsessed with that book. This is going to be my first reread of the year, hopefully, if I actually get round to it. So that is on the spring TBR because Furybound is released next month in May. That is about wolves, training with wolves, there's vampires, a war going on, and our female character has to bond with a wolf and enter these types of trials to basically get to the front lines to try and save her sister. Children in her village were going missing, but she wants to solve the mystery of where they're going. They think that they are getting stolen by the vampires that are in the war, and so she needs to get to those front lines. But to get to those front lines she has to go through the army, and of course this is the season where she has to bond with a direwolf. It is so fun, and I think if you like the whole bonded animal situation you'll really enjoy the wolf as well. Like, she was so sassy. I loved her. Next we have The Rose Bargain by Sasha Payton Smith. Now I haven't read this yet, but I've heard it's very Bridgerton Bridgerton vibes, very whimsical, political. I think there's like a love triangle here, but I think there is a clear winner. And I know the second book is coming out in April as well. I would like to read this before the second book comes out so I can just like binge them close together. I want to know what the hype's all about, and I feel like this would be a really nice spring read. The cover looks like spring. There's flowers and it's pink, and that just screams spring for me. Even the second book, it screams spring, so that is why it's on my spring TBR. How many times am I going to say spring in this video? And then next we have Mile High by Liz Tom Ford. It's criminal that I haven't read this series yet, okay? But this just screams spring, summer to me. So I would like to at least start the series in spring and then just read it as maybe palette cleansers, unless I get completely addicted and just binge it all in one go. But I'm going to add Mile High to my spring TBR because it is at the front of my mind all the time. Like, I want to start this series. I need to know what the hype's about. I've just got into sports romance, hockey romance. I feel like this is going to be a really good one to read when the sun's shining, my mood's going to be high, and I just want to have a giggly fun time. I want to be immersed in a world where there's characters and I want to feel like I'm in a friendship with them. That is the vibes that I'm going for this spring. Okay, so that leads us on to new releases. So these are books that are being released in the springtime. This is going to be more just April and May releases. So first we have Rights of the Starling by Devney Perry. Now this is supposed to come out on the 7th of April. I'm sorry if any of these dates are wrong. From when I've checked them, these are what the dates are saying at the moment. If they change, I'm sorry. Again, this is supposed to come out April 7th. I'm going to be picking this up straight away because the way Shield of Sparrows ended, gobsmacked. It was amazing. It was everything I wanted from a romantic book. It had like creatures in it. I really enjoyed the FMC. She was just asking so many questions. Like, that would be me in that situation. I would literally just be like, what the hell is going on, and asking so many questions. I really enjoyed her. There was lots of secrecy in the first book. I just can't wait to see where the plot is going to develop in the second one. So yes, that is a new release that's coming out that I'm very excited for. We then have the Thorn Queen release by Sasha Payton Smith. This is being released, it says, on the 23rd of April. This is the second book to The Rose Bargain. It's coming out very soon. That is why The Rose Bargain is on my spring TBR. This is another one that I'm very excited to read. Again, I can just dive straight into it once I've read The Rose Bargain. I also think they're very short books, very easy to read hopefully, so there'll be nice little palette cleansers to throw in there. Next is Between Tides and Thunder. Now this is by Lena Kazik. This is a new release, so this is a start of a series, I believe, so it should already be out now. I actually can't even remember why this is on my list, but I really want to get into like pirate romantasy, and this just sounded really good when I first read it, but now I've forgotten what it's about, so I'm just going to read out the blurb. She was raised to hate him, now she shares his bed. Princess Maya of Tundrin isn't allowed to want, not freedom, not love, not even her own future. Instead, she spent her life healing others' pain and swallowing her own. But when her father strikes a fragile alliance with enemy kingdom Arbinge to crush a rising rebellion, she is bartered into a marriage she didn't choose for a crown she doesn't want. She expects a prince, she gets the Dark Commander. Xavier is ruthless, unyielding, and a storm wielder with a reputation soaked in blood. He is everything Maya was taught to fear, yet as they race across rebel-torn lands, the less certain she is of where the monster ends and where the man begins. In Arbinge's glittering courts, the rebellion surges and dangerous secrets stir from Maya's past. Secrets that could shatter her kingdom and her heart, if she lets them. The question is not if Maya will betray, but who? Her people, her love, or herself. Yeah, I remember why I added it to my TBR. It sounds absolutely amazing, and the reviews, they're all literally 5-star reviews. I am so desperate to read this, so I'm going to pick that up very soon. Okay, so next, are we surprised? No, we have Fury Bound by Sable Sorensen, the second book to Diabound. Exactly why I wanted to reread Diabound, so that I could have a fresh mind going into Fury Bound. I am so excited for this. There is nothing standing in my way for me not to be reading that book on the day. As soon as it comes out, I am running to grab that book, and no one is going to disturb me. My phone is going to be off. I'm going to be calling in sick to work or booking it off if work are watching, and I'm going to be reading about direwolves, and it's going to be the happiest time of my life. I don't know what that says about me, but here we are, and that's coming out on the 5th of May. Next we have Broken Dove. Now, people didn't like Silver Elite, and I completely respect that and understand why. I absolutely loved it. I had the best time ever. Maybe I'm just really easy to please. I know it was described as dystopian, but I didn't really care about the dystopian aspect of it. I was just having a giggly fun time. Cross Reddin, I was on my knees gasping for air reading about that man, and I cannot wait to see where this is going. I can see people's criticisms. I understand it's not the most perfect literature in the world, but I feel like if you're just open-minded, wanting a fun time going into this, I feel like you'll have the same experience as me. I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I am so desperate to read Broken Dove. I really hope we do get more of like the world outside of this like compound. I would love to see what more is out there. Again, another one, I will be taking the day off work or booking it as holiday if work are watching on the 12th of May. I'm going to be having a lot of time off in May by the looks of it. I'm reading about Cross Reddin, our sexy commander. May is looking very promising for me. Another one to add to May releases, which is the 19th of May, I believe this is coming out, is The Ballad of Fallen Dragons. This is why I want to read When the Moon Hatched, because the second book is coming out very, very soon, and I would like to read it before then. Will I? I don't know. Hopefully I do. There's quite a lot of books on my list here. Do you know a lot of people are really excited for the second book and have been waiting a really long time for it? I really want to jump on that hype. I love it when a new book gets released. I love it when people love the book and I'm really excited to read it. I just love the atmosphere of it all, so I want to be a part of that. May is going to be a busy month for me. Very exciting new releases to come. And then next we have my recommendations. So I have all of my recommendations here and I'm just going to go through them. I think I have like 6 or 7, but I'm going to start with This Woven Kingdom by Tira Murphy. Now this series is kind of an average series to me, but I do understand that people absolutely love this series and that's why I'm recommending it still. I really loved the first book of this. I think the second book fell a little bit flat for me. It picks up again in the third book. I just think it's very whimsical. It feels very spring. There's a lot of court politics. When I read it, it just really reminds me of spring because I think I did read it in the summertime as well, so it was quite hot outside. This would be a perfect one to read in the spring if you want something very whimsical. If you want some yearning. Oh my god, does the male main character yearn in this book. I haven't actually read every Spiral of Fate, which is the 4th book that has been released, and I do need to get around to it. I would like to continue this series even if it wasn't like my all-time favourite series, but I would still recommend it for people who loved Once Upon a Broken Heart, want a YA easy read just to chuck in your bag while you're out and about in spring in the nice sunshine. Like this, I feel like is a perfect book. I can literally picture people reading it, just sat having a picnic and reading a book. Next we have Spark of the Everflame by Pencole. This is another one that is very controversial for me because I do enjoy this series. I enjoyed the 3rd book the most. This is still a really good spring read. Again, this is one that I read in the summertime, so it reminds me of those feelings, but I do also think that the magic in this and where we end up in the 3rd book, it's quite hot. That's why I would add this to like a spring TBR. It's also just about a woman who is kind of like coming into her own and her own powers and things, like that just gives spring. We're coming into a new season. I think if you want a slow burn, and I mean one of the slowest burns I think I've ever read ever, you will love this. It kind of follows like a rebellion. She's not exactly part of the rebellion, but they're trying to recruit her. Her mother's passed down her healing knowledge to her so she can heal people that are in the palace. She's now been tasked to heal the king, so she's spending a bit more time in the palace, and our descended demi-fae commander is watching over her every move, trying to make sure that she's not doing anything rebellious and messing with the king. It's definitely very fun. It's very political actually, especially in the 2nd book. The female main character isn't my favourite, but I still would recommend this book. I'm still glad I read it. I do think that this would be a perfect read for the spring. Next we have Servant of Earth by Sarah Hawley. Oh my god, I am raving about this series until the day I die. Honestly, the 2nd book, Princess of Blood, is 5 stars for me. This is 4.5 stars. I think the 1st book is really reminiscent of spring. This has got fae. If you like your typical fae who are quite cruel, very political and play mind games a lot, you'll probably enjoy this. And the fae have a lot of elemental magics, which just reminds me of spring, so that's why this is in here. There's trials, and for some reason the trials just remind me of spring as well. This follows our female main character Kenna. She lives in this like religious village. In this village, every so often girls get sent over to the fae realm because they're on their border to live a better life, or that's what they're told. Her friend gets picked and she wants to make sure that her friend gets there safely. Things start to happen. It's actually a lot more brutal than it seems. She ends up in the fae realm. She ends up working for Earth House's princess and has to help her compete in these trials. It all just goes from there. There's a love triangle in this. Wait until you get to the 2nd book. That's all I'm gonna say. And you will be having the best time of your life. This is how you do a love triangle, honestly. It was just so good. Seems like the perfect pick for a spring read. Next we have A Dance of Lies by Brittany Arena. This is such a beautiful book. This has got chronic illness representation in it, which I really enjoyed. I think it's really clever how she did it in like a romancy setting. This isn't really magic forward. So this follows a female main character who is a dancer. She is the king's jewel, and there are 3 kingdoms in this world ruled by brothers, and she works for one of the brothers. She is his dancer. She dances for him, but all of a sudden he kind of turns on her, basically frames her for a murder and imprisons her. And while she's been in prison, she loses a lot of her mobility in her limbs and can't dance the way that she used to or move the same. She then gets taken out of prison and is tasked to spy on his brother in the enemy kingdom, and he is known to be very enigmatic and very out there, very outspoken and charismatic, and just his complete opposite. And he wants to know what's going on in this kingdom, so they throw like a dance kind of competition every so often, and she has to dance in this kingdom, try and get his attention and spy on him. This is a lot harder for her now because she doesn't have the same movement, so she has to compensate through her calculated mind and performances and put on a show that's going to distract from her lack of mobility. And it was just so beautiful to read. I feel like this is the perfect book to read in spring. And then lastly we have Heavenly Bodies by Amani Eru. Now this is perfect for spring. I think if you want meddling gods, celestial magic, it's very beautiful to read. It's set in the light kingdom. I mean, if that's not screaming spring, I don't know what is. It follows a female main character, Elara. She is on the run from the stars. Now the stars are basically like gods. He wants to unalive her, so she's on the run. Her people have been unalived and she seeks refuge in her enemy kingdom, the kingdom of light. She's the one with shadow magic. They kind of strike a deal to bring down the stars and help her unalive the star that is trying to unalive her. So he trains her for this. The second book has been released. The third book is coming out this year, so I feel like it's the perfect time to read it. I actually want to do a reread of this before I go into the second book because it's been a long time since I've read it. But I remember there was a scene in this where she basically has to give him like a lap dance in front of everyone. It was, yeah, it was something, and I was blushing. I just love Lorenzo and Elara so much, and the way this book ended, celestial magic just gets me every single time. So that is my spring reading guide. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you get some inspiration from any of these books or books to add to your TBR. Please let me know what you're planning to read in the spring down below. Like, do you have any new book releases that you're really excited for like me? I will not be surprised if people say Fury Bound, honestly, because that book I feel like is probably going to be one of the most hyped books to come out of this year. But thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you again in another video.